She left me in pieces, then sent me an invite to watch her marry the man she cheated with. It came in a white envelope, gold trim, handwritten name, Philip Owens, like nothing ever happened. No apology, no explanation, just, we'd be honored to have you celebrate with us. Her name, Sabrina Lynn, printed right above his, Jason Carter. Philip held the envelope for a long time. Didn't open it right away. He already knew what was inside. 2 years before that letter, they were living together. She had keys to his apartment, password to his phone, access to everything. She used to leave little notes on the fridge, dumb things like pick up oat milk or don't forget dinner with mom. Back then, he thought they were building something. Until one night, Sabrina said she needed space, claimed work was getting intense, said she was staying with her friend Maya for a few days. No big fight, no dramatic exit, just a casual break from routine. Philip gave her space, didn't ask questions, trusted her, kept the house clean, kept his weekends open, even sent her texts asking how she was doing. Most went unanswered. 3 weeks later, she came back, said she'd had a lot to think about. She was quiet, but affectionate. That night, she stayed over. They slept in the same bed, made breakfast in the morning, then she left again, said she needed more time. After that, she was gone. Completely. No calls, no messages, nothing. He called Maya. Maya said Sabrina had left 2 weeks ago, hadn't heard from her either. That's when he knew. He didn't try to chase her, just deleted her number. Packed her things into a box and shoved it in the hallway. She never came for it. Then the invite showed up. The name Jason Carter meant something. Philip knew the guy. Sabrina once mentioned him, said he was some co-worker. Funny guy, kind of loud, she said. Jason once liked a few of her photos on Instagram. No big deal. But now, she was marrying him? Philip didn't cry, didn't scream. He sat in silence for over an hour, just staring at the names on the invite. Then he stood up, walked to his computer, opened a folder labeled Sabrina. Inside were screenshots, a backup of her messages, photos from the months they lived together, receipts, dates, times. He started organizing them into a timeline. She thought he was weak, she thought he was done. She had no idea what he was about to do. Philip met Sabrina at a friend's birthday dinner in Midtown. She was sitting across from him, drinking ginger ale out of a wine glass. She made a joke about the playlist being too dramatic for a casual gathering. He laughed. They talked about music, books, a few random shows. Before the bill came, she asked if he had Instagram. He gave her his number instead. They started talking that night. Texts turned into late-night calls. A week later, they had coffee at a small place near her apartment. She was 27, worked in marketing, said she liked her job but hated her boss. Philip was a software analyst, lived alone, played chess online when he got bored. They kept seeing each other. By the 3rd month, she had a toothbrush in his bathroom. She knew where he kept his cereal, his socks, his spare keys. He never asked her to move in. She just didn't leave. One night, she showed up with a suitcase, said the lease on her place was up and her roommate had moved in with her boyfriend. Philip told her she could stay. They lived together for almost a year. Every morning, she made instant coffee and left the stove on by accident. He'd remind her to turn it off. Every night, she watched reruns while he worked in the corner with headphones on. They didn't argue much. She liked to keep things easy. If something annoyed her, she'd say nothing for days, then suddenly bring it up during dinner. Her friends came around sometimes, Maya, Vanessa, another one named Brooke. They'd drink wine, laugh too loud, talk about people Philip didn't know. He stayed in the other room most of the time. Sabrina talked about wanting to start a podcast, said people told her she had a voice for audio. She bought a mic, never used it, bought it more for the idea than the work. They went on short trips, one weekend in Miami, another in Portland. She loved taking pictures but rarely posted any with Philip. Said she liked to keep her private life private. He didn't question it. He wasn't big on social media anyway. Once they ran into Jason at a bar. Sabrina introduced him as her coworker. Jason was loud, cracked jokes, called Sabrina Sabs. She laughed. Philip noticed Jason's hand lingered when they hugged. Jason said they'd all hang out again. They never did. Sabrina started staying late at work, a few nights a week, then more. She'd say she had meetings, said they were launching a new campaign. Philip believed her. There was no reason not to. The last month before she left, she was barely home. When she was quiet, said she was tired. Philip asked if something was wrong. She said no. He dropped it. She packed one bag, left a note on the fridge, said she needed time to think. That's all it said. Philip stared at it for 10 minutes, then threw it in the trash. He didn't see her again until the wedding invitation arrived. It started small. Sabrina stopped answering texts quickly. Calls went to voicemail. She'd reply hours later with short messages. Busy at work. Sorry, in a meeting. Talk later. Philip noticed she kept her phone face down on the table. She used to leave it lying around. Now it was always close to her. Even during showers, she took it with her. Once she left it in the kitchen while going to the bathroom. It lit up. He glanced. No name, just J. She came back fast, picked up the phone without saying anything, walked into the bedroom, shut the door. That night, she said she was tired and went to sleep early. One Saturday, Philip asked her if she wanted to go to the market like they usually did. She said she had errands. Didn't say what kind. Was already dressed when he woke up. Full makeup, red lipstick. Said she'd be back in a few hours. Didn't come back until after dark. No groceries, just a small shopping bag from a boutique she never mentioned before. Another time, he tried to show her a meme. Walked over, phone in hand. She was lying on the couch. When she saw him, she quickly turned her screen off and sat up. Said she had a headache. Didn't laugh at the meme. Philip remembered the passwords hadn't changed, so one night while she was asleep, he checked her laptop. She always synced her messages, but the inbox was clean. Too clean. No messages older than a week. Nothing from Jason. Nothing from anyone named Jay. He didn't ask her about it, just started paying closer attention. One night, they were having dinner. Philip asked how work was going. She said, stressful and nothing else. Then asked about his day. He told her about a bug he fixed in a report. She nodded but didn't look up from her plate. The next morning, she left early again, said she had to prep for a meeting. Philip stayed behind, checked the bathroom. Her toothbrush was gone. So was her charger. He checked the trash, found a receipt for a hotel. 2 nights, Midtown. He took a photo of it. Didn't say anything. Sabrina came back 2 days later. No explanation. No mention of the hotel. Said she wanted to talk but didn't know where to start. Then said, never mind. That week, she didn't sleep in the same bed. Said the couch was more comfortable. Philip stopped trying to understand, just started taking notes, dates, times, places. Everything started going into a folder. She was already gone. She just hadn't said it yet. Philip was clearing out the bedroom drawer. Not for any reason. He just wanted it clean. Half the stuff in there hadn't been touched in months. Old receipts, takeout menus, random charger cables. Then he found her old phone. Sabrina had upgraded a while back. She told him to throw the old one away, but he didn't. It had been sitting under a stack of papers, dead for months. He plugged it in. It lit up after a few minutes. No password. She never bothered setting one on the old model. Philip opened the messaging app. The messages weren't recent. Most were months old, but one thread stood out. Jason C. He opened it. The last message read, I can't wait to call you my husband. It was sent 2 weeks before she told Philip she needed space, right in the middle of when they were still sleeping in the same bed, cooking the same dinners, making weekend plans. He kept scrolling. Dozens of messages, photos, voice notes, plans about moving in together, talk about how they needed to end things the right way, jokes about how clueless Philip was. Jason wrote, does he suspect anything yet? She replied, nope, still thinks I'm staying at Maya's. There was a message where Jason asked her to come to his sister's wedding as his date. She said she couldn't. Too risky. Said she'd make up a story. Blamed a fake work trip. Philip put the phone down, walked to the window, stood there. Then he went back, opened the gallery. Screenshots of bank transfers. Jason had sent her money. Not large amounts, just enough to notice. He checked the dates, matched the ones where she said she was buying groceries. One of the photos showed Sabrina in Jason's car. Philip recognized the dashboard. It was taken at night. She was wearing the jacket he'd bought her for Christmas. There was also a video. It started with her laughing. Jason was filming. In the background, her voice said, "Philip thinks I'm with Maya right now." Then silence. Then laughter. Philip copied everything to a flash drive, kept the phone on charge. That night, Sabrina came home, said she was hungry, asked if there was anything to eat. He said no. She said she'd order something. He watched her scroll through her phone, laugh at something. She didn't know what he'd seen. Not yet. Philip waited until Sabrina left the next morning. She said she was going to a meeting and might be home late. He nodded, didn't say much. She grabbed her bag, kissed him on the cheek like nothing was wrong, and walked out. As soon as the door closed, he sat at the kitchen table with her old phone in front of him. The messages, dates, all of it sat in one long thread that spelled everything out clearly. No misunderstandings, no gaps. He stared at it for a while before grabbing his laptop, opened a blank document and started typing out a timeline. Every night she stayed out. Every time she told him she was with Maya. Every small lie that he brushed off because he didn't want to seem paranoid. The hotel receipt from the trash matched one of Jason's transfers. Same date, same weekend she said she was away for work. The weekend she came back with a shopping bag and no story. Philip kept typing until his fingers hurt. He added screenshots, copied messages, saved voice notes. He opened her social media, connected the dots, photos she didn't post, locations she didn't check in at. All the pieces that seemed normal at the time shifted into place. He could have confronted her then and there, called her out, demanded answers. But what was there to ask? She had already made her choice. He looked around the apartment, her shoes by the door, her coat hanging on the chair, the things she left behind so she could slip back into his life whenever she wanted without questions. The invitation sat on the counter, right where he left it. White envelope, gold trim, both of their names printed neatly at the top. Sabrina Lynn, Jason Carter. He picked it up, turned it over, and stared at his name. They thought he would just show up, smile, sit quietly while they celebrated something built on lies. They thought his silence was weakness, that he'd let it go. He closed his laptop, saved everything to a flash drive, and slid it into his pocket. The invitation went back in its envelope. If they wanted him there, he'd be there. Not as a guest, as a reminder. Philip waited until the following Monday. He'd already transferred files from the old phone to 2 different drives and uploaded everything to a private cloud folder. Then he made a call to a number he found on a quiet Reddit thread, someone people mentioned when they wanted real answers without drama. Her name was Lena Ruiz, used to work fraud cases for an insurance company. Now did her own thing. No fancy office, just a Gmail, a Signal number, and results. They met at a laundromat she chose. Neutral ground, cameras off, white noise from dryers in the background. She wore a hoodie, carried a worn-out backpack, and didn't bother asking many questions. Philip told her about the texts, the hotel, the wedding invite. She listened, asked for dates, names, times. He handed over the flash drive. "Do you want confirmation or do you want leverage?" she asked. Philip said, "Both." She nodded, said she'd be in touch within a week. Told him not to message unless urgent. Gave him a burner number, told him to save it under something boring like plumber. 2 days later, she sent the first batch. Photos of Sabrina and Jason outside a townhouse Philip didn't recognize. Same place, different nights. Once around 11 p.m., another early in the morning. Both times, Jason's car was parked in the driveway. Lena confirmed it wasn't Jason's address. Belonged to a woman named Ava Bennett, registered as Jason's ex. Apparently not so ex. By the 4th day, Lena found records of shared payments. Jason and Sabrina transferring money to a joint Venmo account under a fake business name. Ridge events. No actual event planning existed. The account was private, but Lena scraped the public parts. It showed regular transfers. Same time each month. Friday evening, Lena sent another file. It was a screenshot from a private wedding planning group. Sabrina had posted a message 3 months ago under a different name, Lynn Carter. She asked for tips on how to plan a destination wedding with limited time but high impact. Her profile picture was the same one from her work Slack, same earrings, same wall in the background. Philip sent Lena a single text. "Anything illegal?" Lena replied, "Nothing that sticks." Then she added, "But I found something better." She sent over a recording. Jason at a bar talking to someone, probably a friend, saying, "If she ever flips, I've got copies of the bank stuff. Her name's on it too." Philip played that clip 5 times. The next day, Lena sent a photo from outside a hotel near the airport. Jason, with Ava. Sabrina wasn't in the picture. Lena wrote, "They're still seeing each other." Philip saved everything. He started building folders. Assets. Leverage. Timeline. He didn't tell anyone. Not yet. He just waited. Philip waited until Marcus was alone. He knew when to catch him. Saturday afternoon, usually at the small cafe near 3rd and Maple. Marcus liked their paninis. Said the parking was easy. That day, Philip showed up early and waited by the window. Marcus walked in, ordered his usual, didn't even notice him until he turned around. Philip waved. No smile, just a gesture. Marcus walked over, looked confused. "You all right?" Marcus asked, sliding into the booth. Philip pulled out his phone, opened the voice recording Lena sent, hit play. Jason's voice came through, talking about bank stuff and Sabrina's name being on it. Marcus leaned back. "What is this?" Philip paused it. "You knew, didn't you?" Marcus didn't answer right away, just stared at the table. "I asked you, weeks ago. You said you hadn't seen Jason in months." Marcus rubbed his face. "Look, it's not what you think." Philip shook his head. "Save it. I'm not here to fight. I just want the truth." Marcus stayed quiet, then said, "Yeah, I knew, but I didn't think it would go this far. I thought it was just some stupid thing, that it would pass." Philip pulled out a photo Lena had sent. Jason and Sabrina, outside the townhouse. "I was your best man," Philip said. "I didn't want to get in the middle," Marcus replied. "You were already in the middle," Philip said, "the second you covered for him." Marcus looked down again. "Jason told me it wasn't serious. He said he was going to end it, that Sabrina was just confused." Philip stood up, tossed the photo on the table. "You lied for them." Marcus said nothing. Philip leaned forward. "I'm going to that wedding, and when I'm done, no one's going to forget it." He walked out, didn't look back. Marcus never called. Lena didn't call. She showed up, unannounced, knocked twice, then once more. Philip opened the door. She stepped in, dropped her bag on the floor, pulled out a file and handed it over. "Did a deeper run," she said. "Her real name's not Sabrina Lynn." Philip flipped through the first page. A marriage certificate. Different state, different year. The bride, Samantha Ruiz. The groom, Caleb Jensen. 5 years ago, Lena said. No record of divorce. Philip kept reading. Photos, a driver's license, a bank document with both names. Then a police report. Filed missing 12 months after the wedding, Lena said. No signs of foul play. Just disappeared. He flipped to the statement. Caleb's sister had filed it. Said she hadn't heard from him since he and Samantha moved to Colorado. Cops opened a case. Samantha said he left without warning. But here's the thing, Lena said. A year later, she reappeared in Chicago. Different name. No trace of him since. Philip didn't say anything. He just kept going through the file. She used his info to open credit accounts, then shut them down. Nothing big, just enough to move around. The only reason this didn't hit her harder was because the missing person case went cold. Lena handed over another page. This is from a recent background pull. She changed names legally, said it was due to harassment, gave them a fake story. It held. Philip looked at her. You're saying she's still married? Legally? Yes, unless he's dead, which no one can prove. Philip stared at the old photo of Samantha, or Samantha Ruiz back then, smiling next to Caleb. Lena zipped her bag. There's more. A storage unit under Caleb's name. Opened 2 weeks before he vanished. Still active. Same location. Paid through a burner card tied to one of her aliases. Philip put the file down. You didn't open it? I'm not law enforcement. But you can. I already pulled the address. It's outside city limits. No cameras, no ID required to access. She gave him the code. Whatever's in there, she said, might explain everything. Then she left. Didn't charge extra. Didn't wait for a thank you. Philip sat back. The wedding was 6 days away. Philip showed up 20 minutes before the ceremony. Black suit, no tie. Pocket square folded sharp. Clean shave. No expression. The wedding was at a country club north of the city. Quiet place. 2 levels. Garden set up in the back. Long white tent. Rows of chairs lined up like soldiers. Guests scattered in small groups, sipping champagne, laughing, not noticing him at first. He walked past the valet. Didn't give his name. Just nodded at the man holding the list. The man didn't stop him. No one did. Inside, music played low. Light piano. Someone handed him a drink. He didn't touch it. He scanned the room. Jason stood near the bar, back turned, talking to a group of men. Hand gestures, fake laughs, polished shoes. Sabrina, now going by Samantha again, was upstairs from what Lena had told him. Makeup, dress, final touches. Ceremony in 20 minutes. He took a seat in the back, pulled out his phone, opened the folder labeled Showtime, checked the files, one for Jason, one for Samantha, the marriage certificate, the missing person report, the photos, the audio. All renamed, all labeled, all ready. A man with a clipboard walked past, said, "You here for the groom or bride?" Philip looked up. "Both." The man kept moving. 10 minutes before the vows, Philip stood, walked outside toward the tent. People were taking their seats. Some recognized him. Whispers started, heads turned. He walked to the front row, stopped, looked around. No one said a word. Then Jason saw him. Their eyes met. Jason's smile dropped. He turned to the officiant, whispered something. Sabrina hadn't come out yet. Philip pulled out a small USB, held it between his fingers, tilted his head. Jason stepped forward, said, "What are you doing here?" Philip didn't answer, just nodded toward the speakers, then toward the crowd. Jason's best man stepped in, tried to say something. Philip raised his hand. No sound, just movement. Calm. Still. He walked to the back of the tent, spoke to the DJ, handed him the USB. "This is part of the speech," he said. "Play it when I raise my hand." The DJ hesitated, looked confused. Philip leaned in, said one sentence. The DJ nodded. Philip took his place again. Center aisle, 3rd row. The music started. The guests stood. And from the top of the stairs, Sabrina stepped into view. Philip waited until the officiant said, "Before we continue, a few words from a close friend." Jason didn't plan that part. Neither did Samantha. But the crowd clapped. Someone pointed. Philip stood up, walked forward. Jason stepped toward him, whispered, "You say one wrong word and I'll—" Philip raised his hand. Calm. "It's just a toast." He took the mic from the stand, cleared his throat, looked straight at Samantha. She tried to smile. Jason's hand gripped hers. "I wasn't going to come," Philip said, "but I figured, why not? New beginnings, love, second chances." The audience chuckled lightly. Philip nodded. "I've known Samantha for 6 years. We met in Chicago. She was a bartender. I was doing construction management. We didn't hit it off at first, actually. She thought I was too quiet. I thought she was too loud." A few laughs again. Jason looked around nervously. Samantha didn't move. But things changed. She became my person, my home, the one I trusted more than anyone. She used to tell me secrets, stuff I never repeated to anyone, until today. Philip paused, looked down at the mic, then up again. "She told me she'd been married before, said it ended badly. She said he left, vanished, moved on. No closure, no trace." Philip looked straight at Samantha now. She didn't mention his name was Caleb Jensen, or that he was still legally married to her, or that his family filed a missing person report. Someone in the crowd gasped. She also didn't mention the storage unit, still active, or the documents in his name she kept renewing under new aliases. Jason stepped forward. "Okay, that's enough." Philip turned to the DJ, raised his hand. The speakers buzzed. Then came audio, a phone recording, Samantha's voice. "I told you, if Caleb shows up, it's not my problem. He made his choice. I covered everything. He's not coming back." The room went silent. The second clip played. Jason's voice. "As long as no one finds the box, we're fine. Even if they dig, we didn't leave anything. That's why I burned it." Samantha dropped the bouquet. Philip looked back at the crowd. "I guess today really is a celebration of new beginnings, just not the ones you expected." He handed the mic to the officiant. Walked off without looking back. Jason lunged first, not toward Philip but at the DJ. Fist to the jaw. The speakers cracked with feedback. People screamed. Glass shattered near the bar as someone dropped a drink. Chairs tipped over. A woman grabbed her purse and ran. Samantha shouted Jason's name. He didn't stop. He ripped out the cord from the speaker table and threw the mic stand to the ground. A groomsman tried to pull him back. Jason swung again. Hit the wrong guy. That guy went down, bleeding from the mouth. Philip didn't move. He stood at the side, near the aisle. Still, watching. A group of older guests were already at the exit. One man yelled, "Call security!" Another pulled out his phone, recording. Someone else shouted, "Who's Caleb?" Samantha turned to Philip. "You set this up. You think this is funny?" Philip didn't answer. She stepped toward him. He stepped back. "I trusted you," she yelled. "You lied," Philip replied. She threw her heel at him. It missed, hit a vase. More glass. The event manager came running from the far end, screamed at the DJ, "Shut it down!" Jason broke free from two men holding him, charged straight at Philip. Philip dodged. Jason tripped over a chair leg and crashed into the dessert table. Cake collapsed. The white tablecloth tore with it. People gasped. Some clapped. Philip took out his phone, pressed play on a video. Jason looked up from the floor. On the screen, Jason and Samantha 2 weeks ago arguing outside a motel. She shouted, "He suspects. I told you not to come here again." Jason shouted back, "You wanted Caleb gone. You got what you wanted." That clip wasn't in the toast. That was for backup. Jason lunged again, screaming, but security grabbed him this time. 2 guards held his arms, dragged him back. He kicked, cursed, tried to break loose. Samantha backed away. Someone asked her what was happening. She said nothing. Sirens echoed from the parking lot. One of the guests had already called the police. Philip walked toward the exit. As he reached the double doors, a woman in a red dress stopped him. "You planned all this?" Philip looked at her. "No," he said. "They did." And he left. Clips hit social media before Philip made it home. One guest uploaded a shaky video of Jason smashing the mic stand. Another posted the toast. The title said, "Groom's friend wrecks wedding with bombshell confession." Within the hour, it was everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. A freeze frame of Samantha's face during the speech became a meme. When your side quests catch up to your main storyline. A blog picked it up next. Bride exposed at her own wedding. Missing husband's name dropped mid-vows. The comments were brutal. Some people thought it was staged. Others shared screenshots of the motel footage Philip leaked. Reddit started a thread. Someone zoomed in on Jason's face. Someone else dug up Samantha's old Facebook posts. Her profile vanished the next day. By noon, a podcast had already recorded an emergency episode. They played clips from the wedding, pieced together Philip's narration, speculated on who Caleb was. One of the hosts said, "You don't fake that kind of chaos. That man planned it like a Netflix finale." Marcus messaged Philip. "Just 2 words. You win." Philip didn't respond. A woman claiming to be Caleb's sister wrote on X that she wanted answers. A journalist replied asking for an interview. By evening, news channels picked up the story. One anchor read the headline twice, confused. Man exposes bride's dark past. Wedding ends in assault. Cake explosion. Police involvement. Jason was arrested for assault and property damage. He was released on bail before midnight. A picture of him leaving the station, shirt-stained, face red, circulated under the caption, "Groom of the Year." Philip stayed quiet. He didn't post. Didn't reply, didn't clarify anything. He turned off his notifications, unplugged his modem, and sat in the dark for a while. But his phone kept buzzing. One message came from a woman he hadn't seen in years. Saw the video. Thought you were boring in college. I was wrong. Another from Lena. Next time, warn me. That video was insane. He muted the group chats, went outside for air, looked up at the sky. No stars, just city lights. Back inside, he sat at his desk, pulled out the printed file Lena gave him, and flipped through the pages again. At the very bottom, something he missed. A note from Caleb's workplace, last known location, the same motel from the footage. The report ended with 2 words. Status, unknown. Philip read it twice. Then he closed the folder and set it on fire. Watched it burn in the sink. No hesitation, no backup copy. When it was done, he opened his laptop, created a new folder, named it Part 2. He didn't sleep that night. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the fridge and the buzz from the streetlight outside the window. Philip sat on the couch with a glass of water that stayed full for hours. The suit jacket he wore at the wedding was still draped over the chair. The tie was on the floor. His phone blinked from the table every few seconds, new messages piling up. He didn't answer any of them. Around 3 a.m., he pulled out the old shoebox from under his bed. Inside were notes, photos, and the card Samantha gave him on their 3rd anniversary. It just said, "No matter what happens, we're solid." He read it once, then tore it in half. Then again. He tossed the pieces into the kitchen bin and turned on the tap. Just let the water run. In the corner of the box was something he hadn't seen in years, a printed email she wrote to his mom when they first started dating. All praise, all charm. He read through it slowly. When he got to the end, he wrote one sentence on the back with a pen. She lied better than she loved. He folded it up and lit it with a match, dropped the ash into the sink. Later that morning, he went to the gym. No music, no earbuds, just reps and silence. When he got home, he opened his laptop and typed a list of everything he'd ignored. Every moment she changed passwords, every time she said she was just tired, every shift in her voice when he brought up marriage. Then he deleted it, all of it. He knew now it wasn't about catching her, it wasn't about revenge. It was that he never needed to prove anything to her at all. She was always going to lie, and he was always going to trust her. That's what made it work. For her. And fail. For him. He showered, changed clothes, picked up his keys. Before he left, he looked in the mirror. Not long. Just enough to know who was still standing. Then he left the apartment and didn't look back. 3 weeks passed before the letter arrived. It was stamped from the county jail and sealed tight. Philip didn't open it right away. It sat on the kitchen counter next to a stack of unopened bills. He left it there overnight. The next morning, he sliced it open with a butter knife, pulled the paper out, and read every word without blinking. Samantha's handwriting hadn't changed. Same rounded loops, same rushed strokes. The letter didn't start with an apology. It didn't mention the wedding, the affair, the chaos. Just 3 words. "I'm pregnant, Philip." She claimed the timing lined up, that it happened weeks before everything exploded. She said it wasn't Jason's. She said she was sure. The letter didn't ask for anything. No help, no forgiveness. She wrote that she was due in 6 months and she didn't know what kind of life the baby would be born into. She didn't name names. She didn't bring up the missing husband or the investigation or what the detectives were still piecing together. She ended it with a single line. "If this baby's yours, I thought you deserved to know." He didn't tell anyone, not right away. He folded the paper twice, tucked it back in the envelope, and placed it in the drawer next to the spare keys and old receipts. Then he stood at the sink for a long time, just staring at the wall. That afternoon, he called Lena. "I need one more favor," he said, "and I'll pay whatever it costs." She didn't ask questions. The next morning, Philip got blood drawn at a private clinic in Midtown. Confidential. No paperwork. Lena handled the rest. He didn't ask for updates. He didn't tell his mother. He didn't reply to the second letter that arrived a week later. Whatever the result said, he knew one thing. He'd walk into whatever came next with his eyes open this time. Philip stood just outside the courthouse, sun pressing down through the gaps in the clouds, a soft breeze moving through the empty sidewalk. His shirt sleeves were rolled up, jacket over his shoulder, phone still buzzing in his pocket, but he didn't check it. The letter, the toast, the punch, the whispers, it all belonged to another life now. He took a deep breath, stepped forward, and crossed the street without looking back. Behind him, Samantha's name was still trending online. The video of the wedding speech had cleared 500,000 views by morning. Some thought it was fake. Others swore it was genius. A few claimed they'd seen Jason working at a bar upstate. Philip didn't care. He walked into a coffee shop 2 blocks down, ordered something strong, and paid in cash. He sat by the window, stirred it twice, then just stared out at the street. He wasn't angry, not confused, just done. No press interviews, no online rants, no revenge left to chase. His face wasn't on camera anymore, and he liked it that way. Before he left, he opened his notes app, typed out 9 words, and set it to post on a delay. She lost the wedding. I found my peace. He hit schedule, dropped his phone in his pocket, and pushed open the door. Who do you believe, Philip or Samantha? Comment below. I want to see how many of you would have handled it the same way, or completely differently. Thank you for watching till the end. Kindly like the video, share it, and drop a comment as usual. Thank you.